The sound of the sent message was louder than the server's. It made a soft swoosh in my hand, but in that cold little server room, it felt like a gun going off.
Take a look at these
The
figures.
fans
I think you'll
hummed
find
in
in
the
they
racks
addressed your
around me,
concerns regarding
steady
ROI.
and loud,
Perhaps,
throwing
but
blue
I'll need
light
to
on the
review the hard
floor
copies
and
before
cold
committing.
air on the back of my neck. My thumb was still pressed to the glass screen when my brain finally caught up to what I had done. I had just texted my boss. Not a report, not a status update. A flirty message that was not meant for her at all. I pulled the phone back so fast the cord on my badge snapped against my chest. My name tag flipped over. I stared at the screen and felt my stomach drop. The message sat in the chat window, bright and clear. You looked incredible in that meeting today. Spent the whole time wondering if you are a whiskey or a wine on Friday nights. I was supposed to send that to my friend Jana, the bartender down the street. The woman I had been working up the nerve to ask out for 3 weeks. Instead, the name at the top of the screen said, Leah Hart, CEO, my boss, the woman whose name was on every paycheck I ever got, the woman who could end my contract with one short email, the woman I had met in person exactly 4 times, always in a room full of suits. For 3 seconds, my brain refused to believe it. Wrong chat. It has to be the wrong chat. I tapped the top of the screen. Her photo came up. Dark hair, sharp eyes. That calm smile she used when she was saying something that scared everyone else. My throat went dry. I hit unsend with my thumb like my life depended on it. Too late. Read 11:19 p.m. Why was she even awake this late on a Friday? I sat back in the cheap rolling chair and stared at the metal floor. The server room felt smaller. The blue lights flickered on the racks, blinking steady like they did not care at all that I had just wrecked my career. I was 28 years old. I was good at what I did. I was also a contractor, not an employee. Contractors did not get second chances. Contract security guys who flirted with the CEO did not get fired in a loud way. They just stopped getting calls. I forced my hand to relax around the phone. When the panic started to rise, I did the only thing that ever worked for me. I ran my system. Breathe in for 4, hold for 2. Out slow. I did it again. In for 4, hold for 2. Out slow. My hand stopped shaking. The tight band around my chest loosened just enough that I could see the screen again. The message was still there under my name. My brain tried to sprint through options. Quit before she could fire me. Blame a friend. Act like my phone had been hacked. None of it would hold. Leah was smart. She built a tech company from nothing. She had lawyers. The phone buzzed in my hand. I flinched so hard the chair rolled back an inch. The screen lit up. Leah Hart. Whiskey. Neat. Another bubble popped up before I could breathe. Come up to 40. Bring 2 glasses. I stared at that line so long my eyes burned. The 40th floor was the executive level. Her floor. I had never been higher than 32, and that was only because a card reader had failed. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. Sorry, wrong person. Sorry, it was a joke. Sorry, I will wipe my own badge on the way out. Before I could type, another message arrived. That is the best mistake you ever made. I read it 3 times. Then I stood up, grabbed my badge, and went to find a pair of clean glasses. The elevator ride to 40 only took 45 seconds, but my heart made it feel longer. I watched the numbers climb. 12, 18, 25, 30. I counted them in my head to keep myself from thinking about what waited at the top. At 36, my pulse tried to jump. I pressed my thumb against the cool metal rail and went back to my breathing. In for 4. Hold for 2. Out slow. At 40, the doors slid open with a soft chime. The air on that floor felt different, warmer. It smelled like leather and some kind of expensive cleaning product. The carpet was thick enough that my boots did not make a sound. The open area was empty. The screens on the walls showed the company logo and a slow pulse of blue. Down the hall, a single office door stood half open. Light spilled onto the carpet in a soft rectangle. Her office. I walked down the hallway, holding the 2 empty lowball glasses like a shield. I knocked once on the frame and pushed the door open. Leah stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, the whole city laid out behind her in winter lights. She wore a black blouse with the sleeves rolled to her elbows and dark pants. Her hair was down, softer than the tight knot she wore in meetings. She turned her head when she heard me. Her eyes moved from my boots to my hoodie to the glasses in my hand. Something like amusement flickered in her face. "You actually brought them," she said. "You told me to," I said. My voice sounded steady. That surprised me. "Good," she said. No apology speech, no begging. I like that. There was already a bottle on the small table by the sofa. She took one of the glasses from my hand, poured a neat shot into it, then filled the second and slid it toward me. "Whiskey," she said. "Neat." I wrapped my fingers around the glass. I did not drink yet. About the text. I started. "It was a mistake," she said. A hard knot formed in my stomach. "Yes." "I am sorry. It was for someone else. I will pack up after my shift. You do not have to worry about the board. You can say you let me go." Her mouth curved a little. "I said it was a mistake," she said. "I did not say it was a bad one." That stopped me. She took a slow sip, eyes on me over the rim of the glass. "Sit, Noah," she said. "You are vibrating." I sat on the edge of the leather sofa, my tool bag at my feet like a loyal dog. The city glowed beyond the glass wall. The servers hummed somewhere far below us. In that room, it was just the two of us and the quiet. "You look like you came straight out of the walls," she said, tipping her chin at my hoodie and worn jeans. "Sometimes I do," I said. "There is cable above your head. Someone has to pull it." "Is that a metaphor?" she asked. "No. I started in physical security, cameras, sensors, doors. Then I moved to the network side. Now I handle both. That is why you hired me. At least that is what HR said." She studied me with that CEO gaze that made grown managers tremble. It felt like she was pulling my thoughts apart to see how they worked. "You like to be where no one is looking," she said. "I like to be where the problem is," I said. "You do not call me when things are calm." Her eyes softened for just a second. Then they sharpened again. "I called you because I have a board member trying to cut my legs out from under me," she said. "And I have a leak I cannot find." The air in the room changed. "Who?" I asked. "His name is Daniel Price," she said. "He sits on my board. He wants to push me into a merger I do not want. He is telling the others we are losing our best ideas to a competitor. He is telling them I have lost control." "Have you?" I asked. Her jaw tightened. "No," she said. "Someone is stealing from us. That part is real. But he wants to use it to take my company." I leaned forward, elbows on my knees, the whiskey untouched in my hand. "What do you want from me?" I asked. She did not blink. "I want the truth by Monday," she said. "He told the board he is bringing in an outside audit firm. He wants them to tell his story. I want proof before they get here." I looked at her, at the stress lines near her eyes, at the drive in her shoulders, at the woman who sent me a text saying my biggest career screw-up was also the best mistake I ever made. "You know I work for you," I said, "not for him." "I know," she said. "Then I am in," I said. Her eyes held mine. A slow, real smile touched her mouth. "Good," she said. "Because when I read your text tonight, I had two choices. Fire you for crossing a line, or find out if you are as brave off the server floor as you are on it." She lifted her glass. "To mistakes," she said. I raised mine, heart beating hard in my chest. "To the best one," I said. The whiskey burned warm down my throat. Outside, the city lights winked. Inside, my life shifted on its tracks, and I knew nothing would be simple again. Monday did not start in the server room. It started in the hallway outside the boardroom. I was on a ladder near the ceiling, pretending to adjust a motion sensor. My badge still said security contractor in small, neat letters. I kept my head down and my ears open. The boardroom door stood half open. Voices slipped out into the hall. I knew one of them right away. Leah. Calm, low, tired. The other voice was sharper, male, confident, in a way that felt like a knife. "Numbers do not lie, Leah," he said. "We are bleeding ideas to a competitor. The board is nervous." Then help me find the leak, Daniel, she said, not push me out. That was the name, Daniel Price, board member, old money, new suit. I am helping, he said. They need to know you can handle this. I have arranged for an external audit firm. They will come in next week. They will decide if your leadership is still right for the job. External audit, I knew what that meant here. Outsiders with fancy titles who would look at logs and reports and then repeat whatever story Daniel wanted them to tell. It is not mandatory, she said. It is, he answered. Unless you have proof before they arrive, proof that convinces the whole board, not just your favorite contractor in a hoodie. His tone on that last word made my jaw tighten. Contractor, hoodie, the way people said it when they meant replaceable. Leah did not snap. She did not plead. You will have my answer at the board session, she said. You will not have a choice, he replied. Footsteps moved toward the door. I stayed on my ladder and focused on the sensor screws. When they passed under me, I caught a quick look. Daniel was tall, clean-shaved, sharp suit that probably cost more than my truck. He glanced up at me once like I was part of the light fixtures. Then he kept walking. Leah stopped at the doorway and looked up too. Her eyes met mine for half a second. I saw anger under the calm. I saw fear under the anger. Then she masked it again and walked toward the elevators. 2 hours later, she texted me, 40. Now. Her office door was closed this time. I knocked. Come in, she said. The lights were dimmer. Her jacket was off. She sat at the small conference table in her office, laptop open, papers spread around her like a paper wall. Sit, she said. I sat across from her, hands flat on the table. I did not reach for my phone. I did not reach for her. I waited. Daniel is not wrong about one thing, she said. We are losing something. Code, designs, product plans. Someone inside is feeding a competitor. I can feel it. I can see traces. But legal says they do not have a clean case yet. So he wants to use that to push you out, I said. She nodded once. He wants to walk into that boardroom with a story that says I am emotional and careless. That I picked the wrong people. That I flirt with contractors in hoodies instead of protecting our assets. Her eyes held mine on that last line. She was not joking. I took a breath. Then we give him a different story, I said. One with proof. How? She asked. We set a trap, I said. A decoy file on the network. It will look like a real R&D document. Same folder, same naming, same tags. But it will not be real. No actual secrets. Just bait. And inside it, we put a quiet tracker. The moment someone opens it, it sends us a signal. We log the device, the time, the connection. We print it. We lock it down. We do it clean so legal can use it. She leaned back slowly. So a honey file, she said. I lifted one eyebrow. You know the term. I run a tech company, she said. I read. I also know that if we do it sloppy, Daniel will say I faked the whole thing. So we do not do it sloppy, I said. We do it with witnesses. You sign a short note saying you approved it. Your assistant sees it. Legal sees it. We keep every step documented. No threats, no shouting. Just facts. She watched me like she was weighing the risk printed on my face. This could still blow up on you, she said. You are a contractor. They could say you hacked the system. They could say you have a motive to make someone look guilty. I held her gaze. If you want me to walk away, say it now, I said. I will pack my gear. I will forget we had whiskey. You will be safe, maybe, for a while. Leah's mouth pressed into a thin line. Then she spoke. I do not want you to walk away, she said. I want you to do what you just described, and I want it in motion tonight. Then I need something first, I said. Money, she asked. Paper, I said. Your written consent. A short email from your account to mine. Just one line. Noah is authorized to deploy a monitored decoy file on my network to investigate internal leaks. Copy legal. Copy your assistant. That way, if anyone screams later, we have the chain. She grabbed her laptop, typed fast, and hit send. My phone buzzed a second later. Her name at the top. Her words on the screen. "There," she said. "You have it." "Good," I said. "Then we start now." The next few hours were work. Not shiny, movie work. Quiet, careful steps. We sat side by side at her secure terminal. I built the decoy file from scratch. The contents looked like real design notes. I used old, harmless code snippets that were already open source. I added a title that any thief would love. Next-Gen Engine Concept. Confidential. Leah watched my fingers move. "You are fast," she said. "I am careful," I answered. Fast comes after careful. I set the tracking inside the file. Simple, legal, nothing sneaky that would get thrown out later. Then I placed it in a folder where only a small group of senior people had access. "Daniel, has that access?" I asked. "Yes," she said. He insisted. "Good. I finished the setup and closed the window. It is live now." If he is the one, he will not be able to resist opening it before the audit firm comes. He will want to know what he can use. "Now we wait," she said. I looked at the clock on the wall. It was already after 8. The building was almost empty. "Have you eaten today?" I asked. She blinked. "I had coffee." "That is not food," I said. "Do not start sounding like my mother," she said. "I am nothing like your mother," I said. "Your mother does not know how your badge works." Her mouth twitched, almost a smile. I stood. "I will be back in 10 minutes, I said. She frowned. "Noah, we have work." "We also have a human with a brain that needs fuel," I said. "That brain is the one defending you to the board. I will not let it crash on my watch." She looked at me like she wanted to argue. Then she sighed and sat back. 10 minutes, she said. The deli downstairs was almost closed, but the guy at the counter knew me. I bought grilled cheese, tomato soup, and 2 bottles of water. When I got back, Leah was in the same seat, staring at the screen like she could make logs appear by force. I set the bag on the table. "What is this?" she asked. "Food and water," I said. "Order of a worried contractor." "I do not need you to worry about me," she said. "I need you awake and thinking clearly," I said. "That helps me, so eat." She opened the bag. The smell of butter and tomato filled the office. Her shoulders lost a little tension. "You really did this," she said quietly. "You went downstairs, stood in line, brought this up here, for me." "Yes," I said. "Because you have been in meetings since 7 in the morning, and you forgot you have a body. Also because I cannot watch you run yourself into the ground and call it strategy." She looked at me for a long second. Then she broke the sandwich in half and took a bite. Her eyes closed for a moment like the simple heat and salt hit deeper than it should. "Thank you," she said. "You are welcome," I said. We fell into a pattern over the next few nights. Daytime, she was the CEO. Conferences, calls, calm voice, sharp words. I stayed mostly out of sight, running checks, tightening holes, watching traffic. At night, when the office emptied and the cleaning crew left, the 40th floor became ours. She read printed reports on the sofa, hair loose, sleeves rolled up, bare feet tucked under her. I sat at the coffee table and watched the logs from the honey file on my laptop, listening for the soft ping that would mean someone had taken the bait. We did not talk much those nights. When we did, it was about settings, about timestamps, about strategies for the board. But other things slipped through. She asked me once why I preferred working in the server room instead of asking for a desk. "Because no one lies to me in there," I said. "Machines do not pretend to be my friend while they try to cut my access." She was quiet for a moment. "I know that feeling," she said. Another night, around 1 in the morning, a page slid off her lap and floated to the floor. She did not move to pick it up. Her head had dropped back against the sofa. Her eyes were closed. She had fallen asleep, sitting up with a pen still in her hand. I stood quietly, walked over and picked up the paper. I set it back on the stack. Then I took off my hoodie and laid it gently over her shoulders like a blanket. Her hand twitched. For a second, her fingers gripped the fabric, like she knew even in sleep that someone was covering her. Then she relaxed again. I put a bottle of water on the table within reach. Then I went back to my laptop. The office door opened 10 minutes later. Leah's assistant, Kim, stepped in, expecting darkness. Her eyes widened when she saw Leah asleep and me at the table. I raised one finger to my lips. "She has a 7:30 call," Kim whispered. "She will make it," I said softly. "Give her 10 more minutes. Foster is counting on her being tired. Do not help him." Kim hesitated, then nodded once and stepped back out, closing the door most of the way. Leah woke a few minutes later, eyes a little wild until she focused. "You are still here," she said. "I said I would watch the logs," I answered. She looked at the hoodie on her shoulders, then at the water, then back at me. "Thank you," she said again. "Drink," I said. She did, 3 nights like that. No ping, no alert. Just waiting and working, and a strange, quiet closeness that made the room feel smaller when we were both in it. On the 4th night, rain hit the windows in hard sheets. Lightning flashed over the city. We were in the same positions as always. She on the sofa, me on the floor with my laptop. "You look tired," she said. "I am fine," I said. "You have been here since 6, she said. "So have you," I answered. She nudged my shoulder with her bare foot. The touch was small, but it sent a warm line of awareness up my spine. "If you do not want that, tell me," she said. I looked up at her. She was not smiling. She was serious. "If I do not want you touching my shoulder with your foot," I asked. "If you do not want this to be more complicated than boss and contractor," she said, "say it now. I will stop." I held her gaze for a long second. The laptop screen glowed between us. The rain beat on the glass. "I do not like complicated," I said. "But I like honest. And right now, honest is that I do not want you to stop." Her eyes softened, then sharpened again like she was pleased and angry at the same time with that answer. She opened her mouth to say something else. My laptop chimed. We both froze. A new line flashed on the screen. The honey file had been opened. I turned the screen so she could see. "There," I said. "Someone took the bait." My heart sped up, not from the code on the screen. From the way Leah's hand reached for my shoulder again, this time not to tease, but to hold. "Who?" she asked, voice low. "We will see," I said. And for the first time since I sent that text by mistake, I felt like maybe this whole thing was bigger than a mistake. It might be the start of something neither of us had planned for at all. The sound from my laptop was small, just a clean chime, but it felt like thunder. I turned the screen so Leah could see. A small notification sat at the top of the log window. Decoy file opened. Time, IP, device tag. My pulse started to race. I forced my hand steady and pulled up the details. "Okay," I said. "It came from an internal machine, not Wi-Fi. Hard line, executive floor." Leah slid off the sofa and came to sit beside me on the floor, shoulder close to mine. Her bare foot brushed my leg. She did not move it away. "Show me," she said. I expanded the entry. The system ID blinked on the screen. It was a board-level profile. The badge code attached to it was familiar from the access list. "Daniel Price." My chest went tight. "It is his account," I said. "His badge. He used the conference room jack on the executive side." Leah stared at the screen. Rain hammered the windows behind us. "So he opened it," she said. "He tried to look at what he thought was our next big thing." "Yes," I said, "but this is all digital. He will say someone used his login. He will call it a mistake. He will push the story back on you and on me." "So what do we do?" she asked. "We print this," I said. "We sign the print with date and time. We give a copy to legal. That keeps the record safe. But I think we need more than just logs." Quote. She frowned. "What more?" "A physical piece," I said. "His laptop drive, or a clean image of it, something that shows he mirrored files, or connected to an outside server, something you can put on a table in front of the board." Leah took a deep breath, then another. "That is a lot of risk, Noah," she said, "for you." "I know," I said, But if we do nothing, Daniel brings in his audit people and turns this on you. He tells them you were reckless and you let some stupid contractor hack the network." Her eyes lifted to mine at that word, contractor. "You are not stupid," she said. "I know that," I said, "but some of them only see the hoodie, not the work." She put her hand on my forearm, warm through the cotton. "I see the work," she said. For a second, the room felt very small. Just her hand on my arm, the logs on the screen, the sound of the rain. Then my phone buzzed. "Kim?" Board session moved up. "Emergency meeting tomorrow morning. Daniel asked about your access. He looked way too happy." I showed the message to Leah. Her jaw tightened. "He is going to move fast," she said. "Then we move faster," I said. We spent the next hour printing logs, signing them, sliding them into a simple folder. Leah wrote a short memo for legal, 2 paragraphs, clear and cold. Kim came in, took the folder with careful hands, and swore to keep it locked. "Daniel is not going to like this," Kim said. "He does not have to like it," Leah answered. "He just has to face it." That night, I did not sleep. I went home and laid on my back on my couch, staring at the ceiling, running through the building layout in my head. I had crawled through half of its bones. I knew the service hallways and vent paths better than most. At 6 in the morning, my phone lit again. System message. Access revoked. In one line, my badge rights were gone. At 6:03, an email hit my inbox from HR. "Your contract is suspended pending investigation of a possible security breach." 3 minutes later, Kim texted. "Daniel is telling people you tried to access files you were not allowed to see. He is saying you are the leak." My stomach turned. It was fast. Too fast. He had waited for a move from us, then hit first. At 7, building security met me in the lobby when I tried to badge in. 2 men in dark uniforms. "Calm faces, Noah," one of them said. "We were told to escort you off the property." "Who told you?" I asked, even though I knew. "Order came from the board side," he said. "They say there is an active investigation." A part of me wanted to fight, to yell, to tell them to call Leah. But cameras watched the lobby. The front desk staff watched too. Losing my temper would only feed Daniel's story. I lifted my hands. "Fine," I said. "I will go. But tell your supervisor, this is not over." I stepped back out into the cold air. My phone buzzed as the front doors closed behind me. Unknown number. "Meet me at the side entrance on 15th. 10 minutes. I almost ignored it. Then the next message came. "Head of Security, Mark Lewis." This is about Daniel. I knew that name. Big guy. Ex-military. Runs the real security, not the polished lobby kind. He had signed my badge forms when I first came on. I walked around the block. Mark met me by the service door. He wore his uniform jacket and a tired look. "Your badge is dead," he said. "Daniel pulled it. I cannot change that, but I can give you 10 minutes upstairs if you tell me why I should." "Because you like facts," I said. "And Daniel is using your department as cover for his story." Mark crossed his arms. "Talk," he said. I told him, fast and simple. The honey file, the log, the board access, the revoked badge, the fake story that painted me as the leak. He listened without interrupting. "You have proof he opened the decoy file," Mark said. "Yes," I said, "and Leah has signed logs. But Daniel will call them fake or say I hacked his account. If I can get a copy of his laptop drive, legal can show where his files went. That is something you can believe, even if you hate my guts." Mark's jaw worked. "I do not hate you," he said. "You fixed my cameras when that vendor tried to sell us junk." He looked up at the side of the building, then back at me. "You have 9 minutes," he said. "I can loop a camera in one service hall. Anything more than that, and I cannot cover for you." "Which hall?" I asked. "Executive floor service corridor," he said, "where the board suites are. If you get caught in there, I do not know you." "Fair," I said. He opened the service door with his own badge and let me in. Inside, the building felt different. Higher stakes, less air. I took the stairs. Elevators had eyes. Stairs had only concrete and the sound of my boots. I climbed fast but steady, counting floors under my breath. 20. 25. 32. 38. At 40, I stopped and forced my breath under control. My legs burned, my heart hammered. I could not go into this shaking. In for 4. Hold for 2. Out slow. The service hall on the executive floor was narrow and quiet. A single camera watched the middle of it. For this small window, Mark had that looped. Daniel's guest office sat at the end. I had seen the nameplate last week when I came up to fix a sensor. The door was locked. That was good. An unlocked door would have been too easy. Easy meant a setup. I did not go for the handle. Instead, I popped a low-access panel on the wall across from the office. Behind it, a short metal crawl space ran above the suites. I knew this space. I had pulled cable through it one long night last year. I slid inside, dragging my tool bag with me, and let the panel fall mostly back into place. Up here it was tight and dusty. I moved on my elbows and knees, counting pipes and joints until I reached the section above Daniel's office. My watch buzzed once. 5 minutes left. I eased a vent cover aside and looked down. The room was empty. His jacket hung on a chair. His laptop sat on the desk in a dock, lid closed. Waiting. I dropped down as soft as I could on the carpet. My heart beat loud in my own ears. I pulled on thin gloves from my bag. No prints, no oil, no trace. I did not open the laptop. I did not touch the keys. I flipped it over, popped the back panel with a small driver, and lifted the solid-state drive free. It was small and light, silver and clean. I slid it into an anti-static bag, then into the inside pocket of my hoodie. Footsteps sounded in the hall. My pulse spiked. I snapped the panel back on the laptop, set it exactly where it had been, and moved to the vent. I grabbed the edge, pulled myself back up into the crawl space, and eased the vent cover almost closed. The office door opened as I flattened myself against the metal. I saw the bottom of shoes step into the room. "Everything in place?" a voice asked. "Not Daniel, one of the guards. For now," another voice said. "He will take the fall and she will look weak. That is all Price needs." They stayed only a moment, then the door closed. I crawled back the way I came, slow and silent. At the service panel, I dropped down, fixed the cover, and checked the hall. Empty. My watch buzzed again. Time up. I made it 2 flights down before 2 other guards met me on the stairs. "Noah Rodriguez," one said. "You need to come with us." I could have run. They would have chased. I would have lost the drive and the proof and maybe my chance to help Leah. So I lifted my hands. "Okay," I said. "Take me." They zip-tied my wrists and marched me toward the executive boardroom. When the doors opened and I saw Leah at the far end of the long table, eyes wide as she took in the marks on my wrists. I knew one thing for sure. Whatever happened next, we were in it together now. The boardroom was all glass and sharp angles. It looked like a place where people talked about numbers, not lives. They sat along the long table in suits and calm faces. Leah was at one end, in a dark blazer, hair pulled back, eyes too bright. Daniel sat halfway down on the left, relaxed, like this was a show he had already seen the end of. The guards pushed me to a spot near the wall. My wrists burned where the zip ties dug into skin. "This is not necessary," Leah said when she saw me. Her voice was cold and clear. "He is not under arrest." "Mr. Price requested extra security," one guard said. "He said your contractor is part of the breach." Daniel folded his hands. "Leah, we need to take this seriously," he said. "He was seen near my office. We have to assume the worst." The chairman of the board looked from him to me. "Is that true?" he asked. "I was near his office." I said, "That part is true." Leah's eyes snapped to mine. I saw fear there, not for herself, for me. "Why?" the chairman asked. I breathed in for 4, held for 2, out slow. "Because we have reason to believe Mr. Price is the one leaking information to our competitor," I said. "I want to preserve proof before it could vanish." Daniel laughed. "You see," he said to the board, "he is claiming I am the problem now." The man caught breaking into my suite. I looked at Leah's face. I could see the battle there. If she defended me, it might look like bias. If she stayed quiet, Daniel's story would stand. She stood. "I did not find Noah," she said. "You did. The guards did. But I did approve his work. In writing." She nodded at Kim. Kim stepped forward with a folder and set it on the table in front of the chairman. "In there is my email," Leah said, "authorizing a monitored decoy file to track internal leaks. Legal is copied, Kim is copied. The file was placed in a restricted folder. A small group of us had access." The chairman opened the folder. He read. His eyes moved over the printed logs. Leah's signature, the timestamps. "And you are saying Daniel opened this decoy file," he said. "I am saying his account did," Leah said. "We printed the logs the moment it happened and locked them. We can argue explanations later, but the facts are on the paper." Daniel smiled like this was cute. "Even if some file showed my name," he said, "that does not mean anything. Logins can be shared, accounts can be spoofed. He is a hacker, Leah. He could have done this himself." I raised my bound hands an inch. "If I wanted to fake something," I said, "I would not do it with printed logs signed by your own CEO and her legal team. I would not ask for her written consent first. And I sure would not show up here in zip ties." The chairman looked at my wrists, then at security. "Take those off," he said. "We are not a police station." The guard hesitated and then cut the ties. Blood rushed back into my hands. I flexed my fingers once. "Thank you," I said. I reached into the inside pocket of my hoodie and took out the anti-static bag. All eyes followed the small silver packet. "What is that?" the chairman asked. "This is the drive from Mr. Price's laptop," I said. "I took it from his docked machine using gloves and sealed it right away. Your head of security gave me one clean window into the service hall. He did not know what I was going to do. He only knew there was a leak and that Leah had signed logs. Mark stepped into the room then, like we had rehearsed it. He wore his uniform and his serious face. "That part is true," he said. "I did not sign off on the drive, but I did give him 9 minutes with a camera loop. I did it because I saw the same logs and the same email from Leah." Daniel's jaw clenched. "This is insane," he said. "You cannot allow a contractor to come in here and steal my property." "No," Leah said, "but we also cannot ignore what may be on that drive." "Mr. Chairman, you can treat this as evidence, or you can pretend it is trash. But if you ignore it, and the leak continues, that is on you." The room went quiet. The chairman looked at Legal. Legal looked at the drive, then at me. "Did you alter it?" Legal asked. "No," I said. "I did not plug it in. I did not power it on. I only removed it and sealed it. If you want, we can open it here, record the process, and mount it on a clean system with everyone watching." Mark stepped forward. "My team can handle chain of custody," he said. "Right now, we can document each step." The chairman nodded slowly. "Do it," he said. Mark took the bag from my hand with gloves. He walked to the end of the table, where a small cart held a clean laptop and cables. Legal came to stand beside him, notebook open. They opened the bag, took out the drive, took pictures, wrote times. They plugged it into the clean machine. The screen lit up. A folder tree appeared. Mark opened the recent documents. The decoy file sat there at the top. Its name glared from the list. Under it, a chain of export files with dates and times that matched our logs. Another folder carried the name of a rival company. Inside, copies of designs, reports, code. Daniel went pale. "These could be anything," he said. "He could have put those there." Quote. Mark shook his head. "The system logs say this drive was mounted in your laptop dock with your user profile. At the same time, the decoy file was opened from the conference room port," he said. "These were last accessed from your account before the drive was removed. We have the network traces." Legal looked at Daniel. "Do you deny using this drive?" she asked. He swallowed. "I deny being a criminal," he said. "I deny stealing from this company. If anyone is guilty here, it is Leah. She let a hacker into our core systems. She let him get too close. She is not fit to lead." He pointed at me like I was a weapon she had fired. "I move to remove her as CEO," he said. "Effective immediately." "No," Leah said. Her voice was low, but it cut through the room like a blade. "You do not get to use my mistake as cover for your theft, Daniel," she said. Everyone looked at her. "Mistake?" the chairman asked. She did not look away from me as she spoke. "3 weeks ago, my security contractor sent me a message by accident," she said. "It was not a report. It was not a memo. It was personal." Flirty. He could have lied about it, or begged, or run. He did not. He told me truth, and then he showed me how to stop you. She looked at the board now. "I chose to authorize his plan," she said. "I chose to trust his work. If you want to fire someone for that, fire me. But do not pretend you did not just see proof that Daniel used his access to send our work outside." The chairman rubbed his forehead. "We have enough here to call in our own attorneys and maybe the police," he said. "We are not going to decide charges in this room." He looked at Daniel. "But we can decide whether we trust you," he added. They made him step out of the room while they voted. The glass doors closed behind him with a soft click. Those 10 minutes felt longer than any elevator ride. Leah stayed standing at the end of the table. I stayed near the wall, hands throbbing, fighting the urge to go to her. She glanced at me once. There was worry in her face now, mixed with something else. Pride. And something warmer I did not dare name yet. The doors opened again. Daniel came back in. He tried to look calm. He failed. "We have reviewed the evidence," the chairman said. "Effective today, you are removed from the board pending a full investigation. Security will escort you out. Your access is revoked." Daniel stared at him, then at Leah. "You did this," he said. "No," she said. "You did." Mark stepped to Daniel's side. For the first time, Daniel looked small. He tried to stare me down as he passed. "You think this will save you," he said under his breath. I did not answer. I did not have to. The board members were not looking at him anymore. They were looking at Leah. When he was gone, the chairman turned back to her. "We will need to manage this with investors," he said. "This is serious." "I know," she said. "You are staying," he added. "We will not be changing leadership in the middle of this, not after what we just saw." Some of the tension left Leah's shoulders. She nodded once. The meeting broke up slowly. People filed out with low voices and worried faces. Legal took the drive in the logs. Mark followed them. Soon it was just us and Kim in the big room. Kim gave Leah a long look and a small smile. "That was the best board meeting I have ever sat through," she said. "I am going to go handle the PR side before someone tweets something insane." She left, closing the door behind her. Silence filled the space between me and Leah. I stood there, unsure if I should speak first. I was still in my hoodie. My wrists were red. My badge was dead. In theory, I did not even work here anymore. Leah walked down the length of the table toward me. She stopped close enough that I could see the fine lines of tiredness around her eyes. "You took my drive," she said. "I took Daniel's," I said. "You broke into an office to do it," she said. "Yes," I said. "I did. It was a risk. I will take whatever fallout you need to hand me. If you have to say you fired me, do it. Tell them I went rogue. I will understand." She studied my face like she was checking for cracks. "You really think I would throw you under the bus after what you just did?" she asked. "I think it would make your life easier," I said. She stepped closer. Her hand lifted, then hovered near my cheek. She did not touch yet. "My life is not supposed to be easy," she said. "It is supposed to be mine." Then she did touch. Her fingers brushed my cheek, light and warm. "When you sent that text," she said, voice softer now, "thanking me for a meeting and asking if I was a whiskey or a wine on Friday nights, I thought you were an idiot." "That is fair," I said. "I almost fired you," she said, "on the spot. It broke every rule, every line, boss, contractor, all of it." "I know," I said. She smiled then. A real smile, tired and bright at the same time. "But then I read it again," she said, "and I realized something. It was honest. Clumsy. Brave. Not a game. Not leverage. Just you being human in a building where everyone else hides behind language. She stepped closer until I could feel her breath. That text was a mistake, she said, but it was the best mistake you ever made. My chest went hot, my throat went tight. I do not want to cost you your job, I said. My board just saw you risk your career to protect this company, she said. No one is going to complain if I choose to keep you close. Her hand slid from my cheek to the back of my neck. She did not pull. She just rested there, giving me time. Noah, she said, this only works if you choose it again, not as my contractor, as you. My heart pounded. I choose it, I said. Say it like you mean it, she said. I took a breath. I choose you, I said. Her eyes softened. Consent, she whispered. Yes, I said. She rose on her toes and kissed me. It was not wild. It was steady. A slow press of her mouth against mine that felt like the end of a long, hard climb and the start of something new at the same time. My hands found her waist. I pulled her closer, careful and sure. She leaned into me like she had been holding herself up alone for too long and finally decided she did not have to. When we broke apart, she rested her forehead against my chest for a second. We will have to rewrite some policies, she said. I am good with documents, I said. And ladders. She laughed once, quietly. Come on, she said. I owe you a drink that is not in a paper cup. Quote, we ended up in her office again that night, but the mood was different. The board drama was still there, floating around us, but it did not feel like it owned the room. She poured whiskey. Neat. Handed me a glass. To mistakes, she said. I met her eyes. To the best one I ever made, I said. We clinked glasses. Outside, the city lights burned steady. Inside, the woman I used to see as a distant figure in a glass tower sat next to me on a sofa, shoulders touching, her hand resting over mine. I had walked into this building as a contractor who hid in the walls. I was leaving as the man who knew exactly how his boss took her whiskey and exactly how it felt when she chose him right back.